March 17, 2026. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2002 chart using NinjaTrader 8. Here's what the chart looked like today from the pre-market. There was a small sell-off, then this big 100-point, well, almost 100-point rally. Looked like it was almost like two legs, then a shallow two multiple leg rally, small little gradual rally here, and then pretty much just sideways into the close. Definitely the second half of the day was a lot slower than the first half. I didn't see that many setups, and despite the high volume, it didn't translate to that many setups. I took a total of 3 trades, which is a lot more than I usually do. The first trade lost, and the second 2 trades won. There was no economic data to really move the market any which way. There was, I think, the Trump administration came out and had like a press conference or something, and things were said. Maybe that might have caused some things to happen, but it was kind of a slow, grindy day. Also, I think since tomorrow's FOMC rate decision is coming out, tomorrow might be pretty crazy. And like yesterday, I mentioned that maybe I have to be extra careful because I don't want to get cut up or chopped up, excuse me, in the mess. I kind of did. I I took a trade today. The first one I thought was decent, but ended up not being quite right the way I read it. So in the pre-market, prices move what looks like this orange down channel. There's a couple overshoots, break to the low side, push up, break down, and then it pushes up on what looks like this yellow up channel, but there's no clean second entries. Drag this down to here. Okay, on the open, it sells off, then it looks like it moves up again. Again, there's no real clean second entries. You get a second entry long here, but it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I didn't really trust that this yellow up channel was necessarily in play. I mean, you clearly know there's a push up, but this is too far from the EMA. It's a little early for me to decide that this range was valid because the low side might be a support, and then the high side was hard to know that it was actually going to be up here or slightly lower. So I left it alone, pushes up, makes a new high. All you have is first entries. You technically have a second entry long here. It's like first entry long pullback, second entry long. Again, it's far from the EMA. It's a little congested. Candles are pretty much the same size side by side. So I left it alone. Moves down. So I'm actually going to fast forward. Here we go. It moves down this orange down channel. And initially I was playing the channel like this. Creates a new low. It's a first entry short. You have an inside bar second entry short here, but that's not a really clean setup for me. I need a lower high at this point. You don't get a lower high till about here, and it breaks out of this orange down channel. At the time, I wasn't sure if this breakout meant the channel was actually slightly bigger, like something down here. So I actually kept it tight here, and it sets up for my first trade. And unfortunately, it was a loss. Go ahead and drag this down a little bit. This was my thinking process at the time. If I was playing this, and I was playing this orange down channel, this overshoot here, I'm expecting an overshoot on this side. So it breaks out of this red down channel. It's tested low. I'm thinking this down channel, this red one has played out. I'm wondering if this orange down channel is going to play out. So I'm expecting an overshoot on this side. So it pushes up. You have a first entry short, pull back. You technically have a second entry short right here. This second entry short is decent because it is getting rejected off this orange down channel resistance, except by the time it closes, it feels like it's pushed too far. And I'm still expecting a push to this side. So now it becomes a first entry short, second entry short failure. Then it gives you this higher low. That's where I jumped in on the trade because my expectation is it's going to create another push up here. And it was backed by the fact I have this slightly different than what it was. So so I have a touch here. So I'm thinking there's a bounce off the support of this orange down channel. This break of this green hasn't really tested the highs yet. This could be the first attempt. This might be the second attempt, but it also looks like it's just a visual first attempt. Maybe first attempt, second attempt. Nevertheless, I do have a higher low. It's a decent signal bar close. Strong push above the EMA. I'm expecting a corresponding breakout on this side. So I entered one tick above. Going for 6 ticks, and unfortunately comes back and stops me out here, 1 tick below here. Now, I was thinking at the time, I should probably keep my stop below here, but then this becomes a really big, I think 8 to 9 point risk for a 6 tick reward or 1.5 points. So I wasn't willing to risk that. I just figured I'll keep it below here because my confidence in the trade was pretty high. Because it's such a nice signal bar, higher low, almost engulfs this guy, opens, fills my order. I'm expecting it to push up, closes back down and stops me out. So fortunately that trade didn't work for me. And then I was looking at it in hindsight and I was thinking, could it have been not a breakout? Something like this. But then this channel doesn't quite look right. There's too much empty space here. So if that were true, then this higher low wouldn't quite be valid because you're expecting a test of this orange down channel low. But at the time, I said, it's break the low side. This could have been the attempt to test the low, and now it might be reversing to create another leg the same size as this green one. So at the time, that's what I thought. It seemed reasonable to me, but I probably don't have, I haven't, excuse me, I didn't read the price action correctly. Prices continue moving. You have a first entry long pullback, second entry long, terrible signal bar, pushes up, hits sideways consolidation, flushes down. Ignore this red down channel at the moment, it doesn't exist. Pushes, kind of bounces. So that's where I established this as a potential support line. And then I said this could be ranging similar to yesterday, where it was just actually yesterday, not quite, but it was definitely I thought in the range. Pushes up, localized low, first entry short, pull back, second entry short, reversing back up. I'm thinking prices have hit the bottom here. It's going to create a second leg here, potentially to test the high side. So this actually sets up for my second trade. So it's first entry short, second entry short failure. Similar to this one here, say first entry short, actually first entry long pullback, second entry long higher low here, but first entry short, potential second entry short failure. This one, it broke above the EMA. I was expecting the test of the high of this green, potentially a move to the high side. So I entered one tick. Actually, I think I entered right at the highs. Got the 6 tick scalp and just was pretty much not going to try for a runner. This yellow down channel doesn't exist. Pushes back down. It tests this again. So now you have a one touch, maybe 2 to 3, but I pretty much saw it as 2 touches and a third touch. So I thought this was a second entry long triple test, but it's not a good signal bar, so it's no trade here. But then it gives you another higher low. So I thought it was kind of setting up similar to this one, except this one I clearly have enough room before I hit a potential resistance area up here, which was kind of a concern. It was kind of a concern over here too, so I was buying into the potential high. But here I thought there's enough room for 6 tick scalp, so I took another trade, entered, got the 6 tick scalp, and got 2 wins for the 1 loss. The prices continue moving down, breaks out of this gray trading range. It's a low. This low of this bigger gray trading range, I didn't establish yet. Once it bounced up, that's where I drew this as a potential support area because I noticed it pushed up. And as it kept going up this green up channel, I thought, okay, maybe there's some kind of support here. I later turned it into a channel here, but as you can see, the channel itself doesn't really come into play, or at least the high side. So it's creating this green up channel. It's a failed breakout. It's localized high. It's a first entry long pullback, second entry long failure. Also localized low, first entry short pullback, second entry short. You could technically restart the count maybe about right here because it looks like it's a first entry short pullback and it engulfs this guy's second entry short. It's almost trade because I was thinking it might be in a range and it could be a failed breakout move back in. Really nice signal bar, except I need, in this case, a lower high confirmation. Unfortunately, I don't get that. I also established that this could be a potential yellow down channel move. So it's 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch, 5 touch. So at least the high side of this yellow down channel, the resistance side looks pretty good, matches pretty nicely. Low side, I was running into some concern with low side here. Was it like this orange down channel could actually be slightly wider? So I wasn't sure, but I was going to be extra cautious because I got burned on my interpretation here. So I just watched it carefully. Pushes down to the low. Say first entry short pullback. You technically have a second entry short here. Second entry short could be breaking out of this yellow down channel. Could be a failed breakout and push back in. It's a little bit far from the EMA, so I was looking for a lower high confirmation right about here, but it never showed up and it reversed itself. Because at this point, I'm just going to drag it. This is the rest of the day. This is only the first half of the day, and then this is the second half of the day. As you can see, prices really slowed down. These candles took quite a while to close, so there was no other trades that had really marked. I'm going to just kind of go through it briefly. It's like a push up on this orange up channel, and it gets really choppy. These candles are like these long wicks on each side, and it's just moving side by side. So although you can find second entries in here, they're hard to trust. It felt a little trappy, so it's like a localized high. First entry long pullback. Technically, you have a second entry long here, but it looks like a visual first entry, second entry. Second entry, potentially a failed breakout moving back into this range. But again, my concern was these candles are just kind of feeling a little congested, just very side by side. So I left this alone. Let me just go ahead and crunch this down and widen it out. So it looked like it might have been in this range. It pushes up, it has a localized high, first entry long pullback. You technically get a second entry long here, maybe a triple test. But at the time I was thinking, is this kind of wide orange or green or just this channel that might be developing, is it actually in play? If it is, then it might be a key entry point here. But then there's debate in my mind of whether it actually should be slightly lower here or should actually be slightly higher here. So then there's already a failed breakout, second failed breakout. It left me a little confused, but I thought there was a second entry long there, but an almost trade. Left it alone. Pushes up the high side, starts ranging again on this. I'll go ahead and color it green. In this range, there's a triple test here. Localized low, technically first entry short, second entry short. You have third entry short, so hard for me to trust this, even though there's a triple test here. Pushes down, hits the low side. Again, you have a potential triple test area here, but no setup. It's only really a first entry. Pushes back up to the high side and pushes back down, but it doesn't quite meet the low side. At this point, it's breaking out of this channel that I was playing at the time. And I started hunting, but I'll go ahead and make it transparent again. I started hunting and I was thinking maybe it's more of this spike in this gradual channel. So if that was in play, then I'm looking for potential bounces here because it does have decent confirmations up here. Not as nice as this one initially, but it's kind of creating this slow overlapping, almost like a curve. So it made it a little bit hard for me to decipher. So localized low, first entry short pullback. You technically have a second entry short here. It's a bad signal bar. In this case, I was looking for a lower high. You don't get it, and it starts moving sideways again. Starts moving sideways. You can find some second entries in here that are very tight. So like this one's like a localized low, first entry short, second entry short. It's not the cleanest. I'm not the biggest fan of something like this. It feels congested. Plus the candles were taking longer than I'd like to close. So I left it alone. Looked like there was two clean legs down here, but this second entry long signal bar is terrible. So again, I'm looking for a higher low. No higher low shows up. And it kind of pushes into the close with just really slow, really crawling price action. So I definitely wasn't going to try to, especially right about here, where this nonsense was slowly unfolding. I decided, well, I'm going to end the day red, but I was able to recover some of the red from this guy by two trades. Today really wasn't my day, so I just had decided, especially right about this time frame, just kind of take it easy. So I pretty much spent the rest of the day kind of reading the news, doing other things, and just glancing at the chart every so often. And I feel like that decision was a good one because there's really nothing super attractive in here for trying to stress or push for a trade. So tomorrow's going to be, I imagine, kind of wild, even though the FOMC rate decision, the expectation is going to be no rate change. But whether there's no rate change, yes or no, it always causes some volatility. And then when Fed Chair Powell comes out and says his color commentary, that also always causes a few things to go wild. And who knows what's going to happen with any more announcements from the Trump administration or any updates with the Middle East. So hopefully that was helpful.